I think one of the nice thing about Flesh and Blood is it does feel like a lot of decks can be competitive. Even though they might not be as dominating as Briar is in the meta, you still have a chance of winning an event if you play the deck really well. And I
I
think
will.
we're gonna start.
Yes. I'm just. Sending you a link.
Mhm.
It's a link you can use to display cards on the stream.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You just have to search for a card and you click on it and it will display on the screen. You can try if you want.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah,
That is really
it's
cool.
working. And now you have an avant-goût of what you can do with these tools.
That is really cool. Yeah, I just decided to put Rosetta Thorn, which is the Viserai weapon, on stream because it's like such an essential card that made Viserai a lot better. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
because
card I picked.
we have seen it play also by chain. So I think this is the rune blade weapon to go right now. It's just too good, right?
It is. It's just spread damage, 2 physical, 2 arcane, and it always does this. But I think if we're looking now on stream, you have the Rhinar player going with a CNC for 6.
Yeah.
And already threatening the Viserai's
Arsenal.
arsenal, yeah.
Yeah, I think he was. I was not watching, but I think he goes with just grasp and arsenal right on his first turn.
He did, yes. Which makes sense. You don't want Rhinar to be able to filter his hand too much, right? And you want to set up as Viserai.
I'm double checking, but I think it's OTK Viserai.
Oh, is it?
I'm double checking because I'm seeing the. I'm not too sure. I'm not a specialist. What cards did I need to search on the deck list to be sure?
Uh, I'm not sure either.
Good question.
Let's say a lot of read the runes, a lot of blood depth barrier would be a good
there
one for
is
ETB.
there is 6 read the rune,
Okay.
yellow and red. And what's the second card you asked me to check?
Blood dead barrier.
I don't seem to see that. So no. So probably not a OTK.
He
Visera
might
here.
still be. I mean, read the rune chance is. It can be in most Viserais. I guess we'll see as the Viserai player plays. If he doesn't do much and just builds rune chance.
Yeah, he's not attacking at all. But I think if you are going with like the Rosetta every turn, I don't know.
So he is building his rune chance with a Maverick Skies. Is that Maverick Skies or Mordred Tide? Sorry, Mordred Tide. So every rune chant he builds will be doubled this turn. I'll try to keep remembering to put the cards on screen
You
whenever we're
have to
talking
be
about.
used to that now.
And then he follows it with a rune flash that is cheaper because of all his arcanes
Okay, so
damage. And I
it's
think
testing zero.
we are seeing the fact that he is a mid-range Viserai and not OTK.
Yeah, but as the chat is saying, I think you can't really go combo with Rosetta, right? Because you want to attack every turn with her.
Yeah, I mean, you could go combo. At the end of the day, you just want to do a lot of damage in one hit. But yes, Rosetta would most likely be mid-range. And we see this with this attack. Like, he's already coming for 3 arcane, 4 physical, has go again, and already has built 2 more arcane damage behind.
But
So,
did he?
yeah.
Did he prevent 3 damage?
Yes, he pitched for his. He
Skull
pitched for
cap
his.
and the glove.
Yeah, no, just the gloves, because it was 3 rune
Yes,
chants.
it's 3 rune chants.
And now he's gonna take 1 damage going through, and Viserai can just choose to pitch for his Rosetta. Yeah. So we see
it's
2 arcane.
2 and 2.
Correct.
That's
Which
a
is
lot.
one of the most annoying things Viserai can do, because you can't block that efficiently, right? And we see the Rhinar just take 6 damage here. And the game is on.
Yep. I don't know how the mid-range deck is going against Rhinar, because Rhinar can like being control or aggressive, and I think here we are more a control version.
Yeah. I think it comes down to how Rhinar decides to play it.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's a good turn.
that is, your typical Rhinar start. Plays a Blood Rush Bellow, gets to intimidate a card, gets to draw 2 if he discards, and he discards the Beast Within, which means that he's going to get to draw an extra one,
3.
but also taking damage in the process.
But it's not that much damage, right? You take
No,
only
it
one,
is
I
only
think.
1 damage. Even though if you get unlucky, you can take 5 or 6 damage in one turn.
I remember on stream seeing someone died with that on the French National.
It happens, and it's always very sad when it does happen.
Yep. And thank you for the following. Aha. And here you have to double check if you know every card of Brutes.
Is it riled up? I think it's riled up yellow? Or I can't tell the pitch color from here, but I'm gonna put riled up
The
yellow on
pitch color
screen.
is yellow.
Okay, so it is riled up. If you have discarded a card, riled up gets +1 attack. So it's currently coming in for 9 with the Blood Rush Bellow boost. But no go again, as far as I can tell. It's still a lot of damage, right? 9 damage, and Viserai decides to fully block with all 3 cards he had left in his hand, and arsenals and passes.
It will be a lot of Arsenal pass then in this matchup.
As you say it, Viserai just arsenal passes his turn, and back to Rhinar.
Huh. I love, this is something I really like with Flesh and Blood, is sometimes you have a few turns when you are doing that all the day, like Arsenal pass, because you don't have a lot to do, and then you have like a switch, and it's like something exciting in the middle of the game. You see this switch, like, and when you as a player doing it, it's like a very special feelings.
It is. It's like, okay, I've taken this abuse, now it's my turn to dish it out.
Yes.
Is it swing first, think later? This is really testing my card knowledge now.
You understand my pain on the previous round.
And they're playing quickly, so I'm trying to keep up with the card, but it is swing fifth.
You are
think
better
later.
than me. I think I can go depending on the hero. Like sometimes hero better than other. But yeah, you have to be used to that. Maybe one day we'll have like image recognition on the stream, but this is not for today. So right now it's all going manually. So if at a moment we missed a card and you want to see it on screen, feel free to put the name on the chat.
Yes, please do. So we had the swing fist. I think that was 3 damage, and then he's coming in with a pack hunt for 6. And he is intimidating a lot of cards, making it difficult for the Viserai to do probably optimal plays. So I would say that Rhinar might have a very slight lead right now, where he's just making it very awkward for Viserai. But the Viserai does have a 3-card hand and an arsenal, so maybe we see something on the crack back now.
And there is a tunic up on the Rhinar side. How do you say this hero name in English? It's Rhinar or Rhinar?
I say Rhinar, but I might be wrong.
Rhinar.
I think all heroes can be said like many different ways.
And we will see if there is translation later. Maybe they will change, but I don't think so.
And we have a meet and greet with Runechant.
So if the arcane damage is prevent, meet and greet will not have go again, right?
Correct.
I think this is what's happening here with the tunic, preventing the damage. So it's only coming for 4 and no go again.
Yeah, that makes sense. Use your tunic, and then probably block for 3. There isn't much to be scared of. Um, that being said, depending on what the Viserai has, he has his spellbound creepers, which can allow him to play at instant speed a non-attack action that might cause arcane damage. So it will be interesting to see if he has any tricks up his sleeve like this, but I wouldn't think so.
Do you have a card in mind so I can double check on the deck list?
I don't. This would need to be a better Viserai player than me to tell you.
I don't think there is instance who can do that.
So it doesn't need to be an instant. It just the spellbound creepers allow you to play any non-attack action as an instant.
Right.
So he created a rune chant on hit, and that's just the end of his turn. So we're fine. And then he draws, and we pass to the Rhinar.
I think this will be a game of passions. Like this is something we have seen a lot previous weekend. That sometimes the player who wins is the one with the more patience. Don't attack too much. Take your time. You will win.
We definitely saw that in the French finals when it was Breyer versus Rhinar.
That was a nightmare, I think.
Oh, that was an amazing game, I thought. So this is Send Sketch Plan, which gives you an action point, sorry, and also allows you to tutor a card. But there is a dice roll that matters on here. So let's see what happens with that.
It depends on what he will discard, but hopefully he only have 6 more attack on his hand.
I think the issue is he had a full hand, didn't he? So it's like there will be a bit of luck here.
This is something I don't like about the brute mechanism. It's like this rolling a dice.
Let's see what card will be discarded.
Okay, so it's a 6 more attack, right? Yeah, because they are going with Intimidate.
Yes.
So
sorry
here
if
there is
I'm.
a 2 action point.
I was gonna say sorry if I'm slightly delayed. So I'm looking on stream. We might need to figure out a way to see if we can
let
pass the
me
video stream.
see if I can share my screen with you without damaging too much the stream.
We can do that in between rounds. I think for this round we're fine just trying this.
I'm trying. I can do that. I have 3 screen. I can do a lot of stuff.
Okay, that worked.
That work?
Yeah, that's fine.
I think you will have less delay now. Yeah, I didn't think about it. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Maybe I will show you. Maybe not the screen, but the one with the overlay. So here we are. So you can see which card is displayed.
Perfect. Okay. So sorry, he did play. Is this Alpha? No, it's not Alpha Rampage. It's Massacre.
Yeah, it was a
I'm
very
enjoying
big
this.
turn. What,
It's
the
like
tools or
testing.
the game?
Both. I'm enjoying being tested on which cards I know and my memory of them, but also the game, which, as you said, really big turn from the Rhinar player.
Yeah.
And Viserai is just kind of forced to throw most of his hand and still take damage. But he has a big card here, which is E-Strike for 10, probably, and 1 Arcane. So,
For
Viserai
7,
also.
right? 10 is when you have a plunder run.
Oh, sorry. Yes, 7.
We are so used to say for 10, but 10 is with a red plunder run before.
Correct. It's because of Briar and all that we saw with her.
So coming for 7 plus 1.
Yeah. And then he probably is gonna Arsenal and be happy with that. I mean,
it's a card he has with a rabbit. It's a token.
I think those are rune chants, are
Oh,
the tokens. And I'm trying to look at the Rhinar hand. I think now, because 7 damage is a lot, right? Like,
yes.
Rhinar could take all of this and then set up, but he takes the arcane, and then most likely he's gonna block some of the physical. Yeah,
Oh,
this
Faithful
has to
Sin.
block 4.
And there is also some. I always. I never know how this card is.
He
Springboard
does have,
somersault.
yeah, springboard somersault, but I think here he might decide to keep the somersault to put it in arsenal,
Yeah,
because if he does, it goes from 2
for 4.
physical, 2 block to 4. Uh, and
And
like
there
you
is.
said, this is a game of patience, right? So they're gonna take their time.
Okay, so barraging beat down, intimidate. It's a yellow one. There is some card I know.
One of the most annoying brute cards out there. Forces you to
Yeah,
block with 2 or take a lot of damage.
and I
Um,
think it's running 9 of them. Yes, 9 of
mhm.
them.
What a lot of control Rhinar like to do is pitch stack them at the bottom of their deck, and then come in at the end of the game and play 2 or 3 barraging beatdowns, and then you can't do anything and you just have to take a lot of damage to face.
Uh, this is what you do when you are being patient. It's like
Mhm.
putting everything. I think we don't pay enough attention to what is pitch right now when you're watching the game, but I think this is one of the most important part of Flesh and Blood.
I agree, but I don't have the attention skills to do that, or the memory skills to do it. So I think we just have to trust that the players know what they're doing better than us, and that they're keeping track of their pitch.
I hope that one day we will have like in the MTG Pro Tour, you had judges with tablets
Mhm.
behind each player. So they are noting what are the end and stuff like that. So maybe one day on coverage we will be able to see everything what was going on. But
That would be really cool.
that will be too much people needed to handle that. I was surprised lately to see how much it's costing Think Below and Fate for Sin, because I think everybody is running them now.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's like
I
€2
think
or
it's
€3, something like that. It's a lot
I
for
think it's
common.
become one of those cards that it is a lot for a common, right? But every deck almost runs 3 of 1 at the very least. Um, but yeah, I do think the prices are a bit crazy. And we have a bit of a slow Viserai turn here, where he pitches for a rune chant and then pitches again to just swing his sword. So it's just 1 and 2. And I think he's just doing chip damage, trying to
Yeah,
wait until Viserai has a slow turn.
but I think it's a good thing going arcane damage one by one, because
Hmm.
now you are like, it's hard for the arena player to pitch a card and only prevent 1 damage. So you're just going ping, ping, ping. It's like a small Kodashi
Is that
annoying you.
the Viserai noise effect? Instead of pew pew, we go ping for
Uh,
Viserai.
I think I need to find a sound for every weapon. But that's too much. We were noticing something between in the lunchtime, that I think we have all the 15 available heroes represents in this national.
Oh, nice.
This is the
Uh,
third. Alright.
so breakneck battery, and in this one is if you discard a card, you get go again. And I don't think he had any cards left in his hand after this, or
No,
I'm
no,
not sure. I
it
can't remember the
discards.
massacre.
Yeah, it discards the massacre.
Okay, and you do see one thing that Rhinar player need to get really good at, which is pitching in very good order so that they can force a discard of a 6+ attack, which he obviously did this turn. And so that's gonna give him go again, and he's gonna be able to swing his club for
Yeah,
5.
yeah.
Uh,
He built his hand to be sure he
mhm.
will discard the correct stuff. And he's putting a Baragic beat down at the end of the deck.
And we see the first armor block from the Viserai player, who had done a very good job not using his armor so far, and finally uses the... I'm forgetting... Skeleton.
Skeleton?
Mm-hmm.
I think I can find it here. I have put it on the screen. It has temper, right? You can block one time.
Mm-hmm. But now we finally have a turn of damage coming from the Viserai with Movern Skies yellow, which is going to give his next attack go again. And if it hits, create 2 rune chants. And then, I think, is it Spellblade Assault? And I think it's a Spellblade Assault for red, which does create rune chant by itself and then come for 4 physical. But we see a lot of defense reactions out of the Rhinar player, just blocking out all the physical, which must be fairly annoying for Viserai here. But still a lot of damage with Amplify the Arcanite and 3 Arcane.
I think now every night I need to learn the cards to be trained for the stream.
It's just that in my testing group, we have a Viserai player who plays a very similar list. Yes, I have been on the receiving ends of these very annoying cards. So it's like I'm traumatized by them at this stage. That's the only reason I remember their name.
Traumatized.
Yeah. Viserai is a very annoying deck to play against these days. It's a very strong deck. And while Rhinar looks ahead right now, I feel like if he makes any mistake in how he blocks or decides to rush, he might be really punished. So we will see how it goes.
Yeah, but I know, people were pointing me that Steven is a very good player, known to play Viserai. So normally you know how to go with it.
And it shows. I think he's been very patient with his Viserai plays, but I think Bert is also a very good Rhinar player. They're both being very patient, which is the name of the game, not taking too much risks. And we do see Bert put Reckless Swing at the bottom of his deck. And Reckless Swing is one of those cards that can just close the game at the end, right? Because it does 2 damage if it blocks an attack. So you have to just remember that he's pitched 2 now, and they'll eventually come back to potentially close the game when Viserai is low health.
So sometimes you maybe need to remember what was the card before.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see it again, you know that they are like near it. I don't know if it's something people can do. Like I don't have the brain to do that, but maybe some people has.
Yeah, it is very hard. I think it's a lot easier to do it in draft when your deck size is only like 30 cards. But in CC, when you have 60 cards, it is a very hard thing to do.
But we see another barraging beatdown going on the bottom of the deck.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are patiently adding Ancient. Like Viserai was doing arcane damage long before Bria was doing it.
Yeah, Viserai has always been a very interesting deck that just lacked a bit of power. And the way I've been told is that Rosetta Thorn was the last weapon he needed to really just push Viserai from tier 2 to tier 1.
But I don't know if this is the case on your area, but people don't really like to change hero. So they tend to stuck to a hero and hope to be able to add more cards with new extension. And it's very hard when you have not played like Viserai before to switch to him. Like people will not do that. I hope I'm wrong, but
no, I agree. I think there is this aspect of comfort decks and comfort classes, right? Like what you know. But I think if you want to be competitive, you also need to be aware that your deck might not be the best time to play it in a current meta. Um,
But
but
I
Flesh and
think,
Blood is very balanced in my opinion. So
yeah, me too. And I think it's better to play a deck you know very well than a deck
hmm
which is good in a meta game.
and here
It's
we
very
see pop.
rewarding.
It is. Um,
Pulping
and
is
here we
here.
see popping from the Rhinar player. Intimidated a Smash Instinct, which I'm gonna assume has more than 6 attack. And that means that popping comes with Dominate, and if it's not blocked with 2 non-equipment card, it will have Go Again, which, except if there's a defense reaction in Arsenal, means that this one will most likely have Go Again.
Most likely. Oh, grasp here. And you are the one who know what's going on with this defense reaction.
So he just builds even more rune chants, right? He has now 6 rune chants, but he fully blocks. However, he can't stop the Go Again. So while he's not taking damage, Rhinar does have Go Again right now.
Because you don't want to give a second card. Are you seeing what's in the end?
I can't see. I think one of them is a Primeval Bellow, maybe. But
the
I
other one
think
is a smash in the ground, like the red circle on the ground. I never remember the name of the card.
is it Smash Instinct? Yeah, Smash Instinct. But maybe he doesn't have the blue to play it and is considering whether to use his tunic for it.
No, because the tunic is active, right?
But he might want to keep the tunic for, blocking arcane damage on the next turn. He is thinking very hard what to do with this Go Again. So he uses his tunic and just swings the club for 5. Again, being very patient and just taking his time.
Can mid-range Viserai go to fatigue, or is it a deck with a small amount of damage he can do, and after that it's done?
I think he can go to fatigue if you just block him out fully. But I think because he is like split damage of arcane and physical, it's really hard for him to go to fatigue. And with the life totals we're seeing right now, I don't think this game will go to fatigue. I think someone is going to kill the other.
I hope so. If I want to go to fatigue, I will show you the 2 old matchup. I'm sad because it was a Francophone, a French-speaking guy was playing the old team, and I know he's playing him very well. I will take a look at the current pairing. And also, I need to take a look at what's going on the Discord. I have 3 screens, and I think it's not enough. There is too much stuff happening here.
The more screen, the better.
Yes, I think I need maybe a 4th one. But I think I can, but on another computer. It would be too complicated for me. And today I'm happy we have a camera which is directly plugged for the power. So we not have the battery problem we had in the French National with the camera going black because no more battery.
I remember that. That was like the timings on those. Everyone was looking at the game fully intense and invested, and then the camera would cut. But you fixed it really rapidly, so it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, and the player were really cool, like pausing the game so that the stream will not miss something.
So we actually saw the Viserai fully block that club swing, which is interesting. I'm curious if he will just create more rune chants and just end his turn,
and
or if
go
he'll
for the
decide to
Skeletta.
attack. we might have a Sonata in Arsenal. And
I'm not seeing one. You have seen it, or you are guessing?
no, I'm guessing, but
Maybe
it
not.
wasn't.
Mm.
He just decides to play, amplify the Arc Knight, and is coming in for 6 damage physical and 6 damage rune chant. So it's 12 damage with just one card in hand, which is,
That's a good
you know,
stuff. Mm.
yeah, a lot. So let's see how Rhinar decides to block this. If he has a hand that can fully intimidate his opponent, he might choose not to block it if he thinks he can close the game afterwards.
What do you want to do here as a Rhinar player?
I think he has like I'm not sure if those are barragings in his hand. So maybe
I
he's
think there is two.
yeah. So
Or
maybe
one?
he's thinking, can I do 16 damage next turn, guaranteed?
Hmm.
And so it doesn't matter if I take those 12s. I think the safe play is to block, obviously.
He can also pitch everything and prevent damage, right?
Yeah, and there we go.
Still better to prevent than to block.
And
So
we
I
do
think it's
see
still
him pitch
7.
everything.
Mm.
Yeah. But then you still have the 6 physical coming through, except if he maybe has a defense reaction.
I don't think so. I think he's taking the damage right now. Yeah, just counting.
Yeah. It must have been an awkward hand for the Rhinar because he pitched all his cards and only blocked 5 arcane. So there must have been quite a few reds in that. Oh, Spellbound Creepers was used to block. Was it?
The card need to be destroyed?
I think so, if I remember right. I can't remember it being used to block, though. Is it? It does have Blade Break, and they did put a counter on it. But he did do arcane damage, so if it was used to actually do something, then the fact that he dealt arcane damage means that Spellbound Creepers is fine. But I might have missed that when it was played.
No, I think it's a bind counter on it. And 1 arcane damage was dealt.
Okay, so as long as he keeps doing, as long as he keeps dealing arcane damage, he'll be fine. But if at any stage he can't deal arcane damage, then those boots will break.
So basically, you probably activated 1 or twice. And
I think if you can, yeah, I think if you can get 2 activations and then you can block with it, you're really happy because you've done a lot with just very little to go on.
It's a new equipment, right? It's coming from Taser Faria.
It is, yes. I
You
am
have not seen it that much play, right?
I think it's a card that's really hard to get your head around. It's like you need to really think out your turn in a very specific manner and how to get a lot of value out of it, because there are ways to get trapped into trying to use the card and then you waste your turn. So it is a difficult card to get the most value out of, but if you can get the value out of it, it's a very powerful card. And we see Viserai play. Yep.
Each time I read these card names, I don't know why, but I'm thinking about Batman.
You never know. Maybe Viserai is like a billionaire in the demonstration.
Maybe. We don't know. But I think that all the Runeblade cards are so, like, good arts.
Yeah. And Become the Arc Knight does have one of the greatest arts, in my opinion.
With Sonata. Yeah. Both very good cards.
So he plays a Become the Arc Knight.
Sky, and then this, and with Go Again. Thanks to the Movian Sky.
Yeah.
So he will be able to swing with Rosetta after. I don't remember what is in the arsenal.
Me neither, but he still has one floating, so I don't think he will use the arsenal card, right?
Probably going with the Rosetta then.
And you do need to block those 4 damage, because if you don't, he will create more rune chants from Movian Skies. So you actually really want to block those, and he's gonna use his armor, which I think is a good block here. Blocks the physical, so you're denying 2 extra damage. Oh, and he decides to go and amplify the Arknight instead of Rosetta Thorn.
He can't have Go Again, right? He's not playing the boot.
No, he can't. He doesn't have Go Again on here. So it's just a lot of physical damage. I think he wanted to push the extra damage and to make sure he can play Amplify the Arknight, because Amplify the Arknight costs 3, except if you have Rune Chance. So maybe he was worried that, he's not going to get more Rune Chance that much anymore. So
it was
he has
a good
to just
timing to do, yes. So he's preventing. Yes. So I think the boot will break, right?
He hasn't done any arcane damage yet, so yes,
no,
I think
everything was prevent. Yes, the boot
yeah,
are going.
and there you go.
Gone. Still having 2 being able to block with equipment. Yes, and just swinging with a club.
For 4, yeah.
And I don't know if you are doing the same, but each time I'm like representing myself, the hero is carrying with their weapon, and then Rhinar is carrying with his club.
I always imagine Rhinar wearing the tunic though, because obviously you give the spring tunic to Rhinar, and you just have to imagine how he's wearing this. And yeah, it was always weird. I think there was a few cartoons of him. Some people drew the tunic on him. I just like to think he ties it around his arm or something else.
I think there is an idea for a cosplay there. I will ask Kevin. He need to do that. Kevin cosplaying Rhinar with a tunic. I think I can pay him for that.
I think it would take a lot of convincing to get someone to do that cosplay, but
I will buy it. I will buy him with Nalu. I'm providing him with energy drinking. This is how you can manipulate him. I think it's 2 Command and Conquer, right?
I see 1, and I'm not sure if I saw another one behind it.
I think it's 2 Command and Conquer, a Sink Below, and I'm not sure for the last one.
However, Viserai did decide to take the 4 damage from Club here, and will come with a full hand. So it will be interesting to see if he can push a lot of damage, or if he might choose to set up. Because if he chooses to set up, then those Command and Conquers might be very painful for Viserai.
Yep. Okay. Pitching Whisper the Oracle to play.
So it's Oath of the Arknight.
Oath of the Arknight.
He played, which gives his next attack a boost. I can't tell if it's a blue or a red.
It's a blue one.
It's a blue one. So it's actually going to only give his next attack +1, but he does also end up creating a rune chant. So maybe his hand was slightly blue heavy here.
Yes, it's another blue, and we see 3 blue.
And we do see Dread Triptych, though, which is probably one of the stronger blue attacks that Viserai has, which is if you have dealt arcane damage, it creates a rune chant. If you hit with it, it creates a rune chant. and if you've played a non-attack action before, which he has, it creates a rune chant. So
I think
a
they're
lot of rune
asking how many tokens are created.
Yeah, and there's always the question about the timing of it. So when does it create the rune chants? And I think the way Dread Triptychs work is it creates them after the card is played. So even if you've played a non-attack action, the rune chant it creates will be only available for the next attack.
Yes, but I think there is two. There were already two rune chants. If they are not prevented, they will have one more. So this is why he's pitching preventing the two, and the second rune chant is coming from Viserai.
Yeah, correct. He still needs to also prevent the 4th physical if he wants to deny that rune chant. And we already know that Viserai is not going to put any cards in hand, so those command and conquers aren't going to be as effective as you would want them.
Yep, so maybe he's blocking with it. Oh, I think it's a massacre.
Which would mean that his hand was very expensive, right? Because Massacre costs 3, CNCs cost 2, and he pitched a yellow. So maybe he's just thinking, how do I block this and still have a turn afterwards?
Oh, it's a rampage.
And he decides to block 5.
It's fully blocked, yes.
Oh yeah, because obviously Oath of the Arc Knight gave it +1, so it was coming for 5. That makes sense.
I've seen players putting dices when they are attacking, so you know how much damage is coming. And I think it's a good thing to do.
Is it a Blood Rush Bellow in his hand, the second card, actually? I think it might be
Oh, it's not a massacre, it's a Blood Rush Bellow and a Command and Conquer. But he can't play it, right? Because you need both to discard and to pitch.
So it depends what he has in arsenal here. And you can see the trademark of doing calculations on your fingers while playing Flesh and Blood.
You can guess. Maybe you can trick your opponent, like you were still counting and you have nothing in your hand.
Oh, so he actually uses his tunic for Blood Rush Bellow.
Oh yeah.
And then he discards CNC, which means he can draw 2 cards, Intimidate, and get the boost from Blood Rush Bellow.
What's the Astro? Is it the Paragit been down in the arsenal? I'm not sure. I love seeing everyone with a stamp on the end. It's like being part of a special group. So just going for the club here.
Yeah, so club for 7, which is still, when you're at 12 life, 7 is still a lot.
It's still a lot.
I'm gonna assume that Bert doesn't run Pummel, so you're not too worried about dying, but technically
I'm double checking this. Let me take a look, but I don't think so. No, there is none. But there is some Rhinar going with the pawn, so you never know. But in this case, they are not. Oh.
And so he blocks 1, takes 6, and Viserai will go down to 6. But again, full hand of cards.
Yeah, something will happen.
Can he do... Sorry?
I think something will happen. Yeah.
He already has 2 rune chants, so technically he needs just 8 more damage to present lethal. Rhinar is out of armor, except tunic for 1. So, should be interesting.
Should. Will be. Oh, it's a Mervian Sky.
So, another one of Marvin Skies, which is such an important card in this deck, right? Gives your next Runeblade attack, go again.
Blue one. It's a blue one.
So
And
while I
it's
can recognize
cracking
the
the
carrot,
skeleton.
I
I,
can't
I
recognize
recognize
the
the
color.
peach, you recognize the cards.
And we see him play Rattlebones, which is another very strong Runeblade card, right? Which allows him to banish from his graveyard an attack action. But because he didn't do any arcane damage, Rattlebone does not come as an instant, so it's not as big a surprise as it could have been. But his next attack action will have Go Again, and depending on what he banishes here, I'm gonna assume he's gonna banish maybe an Amplify the Arknight, because he has 3 rune chance again, so he could come with a big turn. Maybe he'll banish something else that has Go Again, like the one I forget his name.
He cracks the skeleton, so the next attack is basically free.
Mm-hmm. But he doesn't have Gorg. Oh, he does, obviously, from Modern Skies. Yep, that's the part I forgot. So he does come for 3 arcane and 4 physical, would Go Again, and if it hits, he will create 1 more rune chant. So already, just with Viserai's effect and the cards on board, he's created 3 more rune chants. So when he comes in for the next attack, it will be for minimum for 7 damage as well. So a lot of damage being presented this turn.
Mm-hmm. So he'll probably pitch, yes. And then you need to prevent 5 damage, right? No, Meridian Sky is not
No, it's just
pumping.
Go Again, yeah.
Yeah, it's just
So
Go Again.
4 physical.
So 4 physical, which is still 2 cards. Or
Mm-hmm.
1 card and a tunic, but...
You might consider taking it because you can't block it efficiently. So if it's gonna hit for 1, it's gonna create a rune chant anyways. So you might just take that 4 and hope that you can block the rest in a more efficient manner.
I don't think you will be that efficient because you will need to pitch to prevent the rune chant. And there is already 3 rune chants, so you don't really want to see the 4th one.
That's very true. So I think you're right. He might need to just commit his tunic here, which always feels terrible. But the life totals are so low that it might be the right time to do it.
Yes, because I don't think there will be 3rd turn. Maybe, but... Yes, he's going with the tunic.
Let's see what else Viserai has, though.
He doesn't run any pump, right? Wow.
Oh, another Dread Triptych.
That's a good one. He didn't deal any Arcane damage, right?
He did not deal any yet, but there's another 3 rune chants coming, which are fully blocked. So no arcane going through, and it still creates 2 more rune chants just because of its own effect and Viserai.
And Viserai, yes. Ooh, 6/6 and only 1 card on the other sides. I think it's smelling good for the Viserai player.
Except if Rhinar can do a big turn. Did I just hear there are 4 minutes left in the round?
Yes, 4 minutes left in the round. You are hearing good. I have the clock also. But I think I'm just double checking if they have any additional time, but I don't think so. I hope this will not go 2 times, but I think there is only 1 or 2 turns left.
And we see the block for 3 here.
A tome?
So we see a Gorgonian Tome, a card that has recently become really strong, and it's just a non-attack action that draws you 1 card, amazing in Briar, it's really strong in Viserai, and a lot of the Rune Blades are just playing this card now. So
I'm still hoping to see on screen people drawing 2 cards with it.
Yeah, it will happen once we have the Briar Mirror. That has to happen at some point. And then he pitches 2 to play and amplify the Arknight for extra damage. So it's
it's
4
10
arcane and
damage.
6 physical.
That's a lot.
It is a lot, but you could take the arcane and block the physical and still have 2 cards in hand and 1 card in arsenal, and you need to do 4 damage. And I think was it a barraging beatdown in arsenal or a
I'm
primeval
not
bellow?
sure. I'm not sure. Ooh,
So
it's tense. It's always the last turn who matters so much.
this could be the Rhinar's pivot turn, as you were saying, where he's been behind all this time and suddenly he has this big turn that closes the game. And
We
he does
have
have Reckless Swing in his hand, which if he uses to
which
block,
2
does
damage,
2
yes.
damage. But he has to discard a 6+ attack for that, so he does have to sculpt his hand correctly.
He can do that with the ancient. Okay,
Yeah,
so he's
he can.
taking all the
So he takes it, and then he blocks for 3. Oh, was it an Amplify the Arcanite? Blue Amplify the Arcanite then?
Yeah, it was a blue one.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't for 6. It was just
It was
coming
for
for
4.
4.
Which is changing
And
all the math. Sorry.
yep.
And
No,
he
it's fine.
pitched. Oh, and the Alpha Rampage.
And he is gonna intimidate
2 cards and going for 9.
and coming in for 9.
He
So
can't
actually,
block
this
with
is
the
right.
skull cap. I think
He
he
has
can
to
block
block
for.
with both cards. Yeah.
Ooh.
And he only had a 5 block in hand.
Is it?
I think he must have, because I think they just I think Command and Conquer blocks for 3, but a lot of Viserai cards block for 2, and we didn't see what the second card was. So I think he might have just have a 5 block.
So close.
It was really close game.
So close.